In this video, we're going to be talking about some of the general concepts of verbal aspect. I'm going to use the verb citat as an example. The general meaning of citat is to read. Она читает. Вчера она читала весь вечер. Наконец, она прочитала всю книгу. Try to figure out a difference between the first two sentences and the third. Она читает. Вчера она читала весь вечер. Наконец, она прочитала всю книгу. Notice that the verb читать can have two possible forms, читать and прочитать. And most Russian verbs do come in pairs like this. Many of them are formed by adding prefixes, but not all. What you might have noticed in the first two sentences that use читать as opposed to the used прочитать is that the first two sentences were focused more on a process, a longer process. Она читает. She is reading. She's in the process of doing it. Вчера она весь вечер читала книгу. Yesterday she was reading the book all evening. And so I'm going to indicate that by this kind of squiggly line. When you add the prefix on and make прочитать, наконец, она прочитала всю книгу. Here we're not talking about a process, we're talking more about the result. She finished reading the book. And so I'm going to indicate the result by a kind of red dot. It's something that happens at a point in time. She finished the book. Sometimes figuring out the differences between the aspects of a Russian verb, you kind of think of it on a time graph, for example. If this is time, then verbs that focus on process look kind of like these wavy blue lines. They're going throughout time. Whereas verbs that are focusing on result look like these dots. They're more like a point in time. And so the verbs that are like these blue squiggly lines are called imperfective. When you have a verb like читать, прочитать, it's considered the same verb, but the читать part is the imperfective aspect. The dots, the ones that are focused more on a result or something that happens at a point in time, is called the perfective aspect. So, now we're going to read some English sentences, and if you were going to translate this into Russian, would you use imperfective verbs, the squiggly lines focusing more on a longer process, or would you focus on the result? Is it the red dot? Perfective verb. So, she is writing a book. I think if you think about it, you can see that she is writing is a longer process. So that would be an imperfective verb. She finally finished writing her book and now it's published. Here we have more of a point in time, some kind of result. Perfective. He bought a new car. The buying seems like it's some kind of achievement or result, and it happened at a moment in time. That's a perfective. He was car shopping all weekend. Here we're not focusing on the result, we're focusing more on the process. It doesn't really tell us whether he actually bought the car or not. They were playing chess on Friday. This is a process. There's no real result indicated here. He cooked dinner. This one might be a little ambiguous. I think probably if we meant the was cooking dinner. So maybe we want the results, although it might not be 100% clear in the English which exactly we mean.
This one's more clear. He was cooking dinner.
Of course, this sounds more like a process. If we look at the concept of verbal aspect kind of boiled down, imperfective verbs focus on process. Also, sometimes there's something that's repeated, or maybe we're focusing on how long something takes, the duration. Whereas perfective aspect of verbs focuses on a result, or something that happens one time, or something that happens at a point in time. The concept of aspect is not something that we will expect that you will master 100% right away. But if you can start to get these basic outlines in your head, it will help you as you learn the new verbs that you have to deal with.